courts have consistently ruled that when you are in a public place where you have the right to be, you absolutely have the right to take photographs or video of the police or of anything else. There are some very narrow exceptions. For example, you can't actively interfere with a police operation. But other than that, you have that right. Use common sense. Don't interfere with legitimate police operations. Stand out of their way. But other than that, you have the right to take photographs of the police when they're engaged in their public duties. And unfortunately, that's a right that we've seen trampled around the country in many, many situations. Police officers telling people to stop taping, which they don't have the right to do, demanding to look at people's photographs, which they generally don't have the right to do, and in some cases even destroying people's photographs or video, which they never have the right to do. So this is a trend that we've seen around the country, unfortunately, but the law is very clear here. The audio is a little bit more complicated than the pictures themselves because we do have wiretapping laws which are intended to preserve privacy by not letting people sort of bug your conversations. And a lot of police have started trying to use those laws to argue that because you videotaped them and your video camera also records audio that you violated the wiretapping statutes. But courts in every case have ruled that the police officers cannot expect that when they're in the public and they're engaged in their official actions that they are not subject to being videotaped and audiotaped by bystanders who are not getting in their way. If you're taking photographs in public where you have a right to do so and you're harassed by a police officer or stopped by a police officer, the right question for you to ask is, am I free to go? Because if they say no, then you're being detained, and under the law, the police can only detain you if they have reasonable suspicion that you're engaged in wrongdoing. And just taking photographs is not reasonable suspicion that you're engaged in wrongdoing.